So here are the five things that I think you need to think about that you have to do for your small business literally in the next 48 hours. Hey everybody, I hope you're well. I've just come out of an incredible couple of weeks. I've spent a week with the amazing people of Uganda, and I want to say to everybody in Uganda that made me feel at home, I literally have found my second home. Just the most incredible, amazing place, and I'm humbled that you had me in your beautiful country. Thank you so much. I wanted to come into your space today very quickly to talk about coronavirus, but more importantly, I think the impact that this virus is going to have on small businesses. As you know, I spent my time working obsessively with people who are building these businesses, these small and medium-sized businesses, and I do think the next couple of months are going to be very difficult. And I think if you're a small business owner, you're up for an uphill battle. So I gave some thought to what you can do over the next few months to try and mitigate, I think, what's going to be a great and very difficult period. And I just thought I'd share some thoughts with you. So here are the five things that I think you need to think about that you have to do for your small business literally in the next 48 hours. The next 48 hours, these are the five things you have to do. There are 5 C's. Now I codified it so it makes it simple and easy for you to remember. These are, by the way, coincidentally exactly the same 5 things that I'm doing. So I'm telling you to do what I'm busy doing right now, okay? Now, first one, the first C is cash. This period is going to be very cash strapped. And if you're a small or medium-sized business owner, you have to worry about conserving cash. What does that mean? Worry about the contracts that you've got signed and collecting on those contracts. Worry about the invoices that you've issued and collecting on those invoices. I think for a lot of small businesses, we generally don't have acts of God or force majeure built into our contracts, and a lot of you are going to find yourself tested. You're going to find that you can't claim off the back of a clause you didn't include in your contract. So the first thing I want to say to you is relook at your contracts going forward. Make sure that you have force majeure, acts of God built into that contract, number one. Number two, make sure that you're collecting on all of the cash that is owed to you by your customers. Because I think the next 90 days are just all going to be about cash, and cash. Number two, the customer. I think it's really important for you right now to focus on getting really close to your customers. So over the next 48 hours, write down your top 10 customers and go visit them. Especially if you're in the B2B environment, go and visit your customers. Go see them, go talk to them, face-to-face time. Even if it's an unscheduled visit, and I know that for a lot of them, they're busy, they've got stuff going on, rock up, chill at their reception, have a cup of coffee, and just have 10 minutes of their time. And this is important because what you want to find out from your customers right now is this: what's important to them and what's keeping them up at night. You really want to make sure that if there's anything keeping them up at night, you're either positioned to help them with it and you can offer a new product or service or supply, but more importantly, that it doesn't affect your payment that's going to be coming from that customer. So get close to your customers, number two. Number three, credit. Make sure that you get yourself adequate lines of credit. What does that mean? Go talk to your bank and see if you can get yourself a short-term lending facility, a short-term overdraft, something to tide you over the next 90 days. Guys, listen to me. The next 90 days are the most critical. The next 90 days are going to be the most critical for your business. And unless you're sitting on a 90-day cover of cash flow to liabilities, current liabilities, I think you're going to find yourself wanting, we'll call that a cover ratio, current assets to current liabilities. Unless you have a 90-day cover, you're going to find yourself in a difficult place. So go to the bank, see if you can get yourself a short-term overdraft, just something to tide you over for what is a very difficult time ahead. Our governments are going to stimulate a response. I know this to be true. President Cyril Ramaphosa, who issued what I think was a sturdy and clear response yesterday, and a statement from him, spoke about a fiscal program. But fiscal programs take time, and they're going to take time to come into the economy. So the government is going to try to do something that's going to take time. On the monetary side, I think our reserve banks are going to try to do a few things too, but that's going to take time. The other thing about our Reserve Bank is they notoriously like to work through third parties. These, of course, would be the banks. And I suspect that the banks are going to use their very stringent credit criteria before they push the liquidity back into the market. Basically, the next 90 days, you're on your own. Number four, talk to your colleagues. This is the fourth C, colleagues. Talk to the people that you work with, your team, your support staff, and just make sure that you steady and calm their nerves. No doubt in my mind, we're going to see record levels of liquidations, and we're going to see some retrenchments coming through in the system. Get ahead of the curve and talk to your people. Talk to them first about the implications of the virus. and how to curb it in the workplace. Talk to them about the right habits, washing hands, using hand sanitizer. I've already done like 15 times today using the hand sanitizer, right? So washing hands, using your hand sanitizer, make sure that there's a clean environment. Now, we had a whole conversation the other day, just this morning, in fact, with the lady who helps us at the office with keeping the office clean, about the office hygiene and needing to step that up. Just small measures that I think you can take, but have a clear conversation with your colleagues to manage expectations and manage fears. One of the very clear fears for one of my team members was around public transport, the Gautrain terminals and how busy those are, Noord Station and how busy that is, Bree and how busy that is. And I know that those stations are busy. I know that those terminals are busy. So get ahead. What we've done is we've said to the team, you can if you want to, but you don't have to. Try and see some sort of flexible work hours. So rather than travel in peak hours, see if you can come in a bit later and then leave a bit later too, so that we can make sure that our people are not exposed to some of those traffics at the most dense time of traffic there. And finally, the final C, communication. Get ahead of the communication. You have external stakeholders in your business. I would strongly suggest you get ahead of the curve and you talk to them. Who are your external stakeholders? Customers, would-be customers, the marketplace, the people who are following you on social media, your suppliers who are here in other parts of the world. Get ahead of the curve and talk to those external stakeholders. As we speak, my team was talking about how we're going to communicate changes that may or may not happen, depending on what happens over the next few days, particularly the next 14 days, what's going to be the next 2 weeks with South Africa, and our government's response about what we're going to do with my Global Inspiration Tours. You know, I was supposed to be in Germany and Spain. We were adding New York and the United Kingdom to that list too. New York, of course, by that I mean the US. So what I'm talking about here is just get ahead of the external communication to your own external stakeholders. I would advise that you have a press release or some sort of press statement and issue it on your website. What is your company doing about the coronavirus, and how are you responding and mitigating the risk of the coronavirus? These are very difficult times. We don't know how long it's going to be here with us. We don't know the impact and how deep that impact is going to be. I wish you and your businesses well, and I hope that these 5 tips about what to do about the virus helps you and your small business. The best of luck to you. Cheers.